Get right, get ready, lift your eyes to the sky. As the morning breaks, watch the shadows pass by. From the east to the west, His glory will shine. In the hearts of the faithful, love divine. Can you hear the whispers of the truth that's been said? Open up your spirit, let His words be your bread. Get right, get ready, He's coming, you'll see. A promise of hope, a chance to be free. In every nation, His message will parade. The gospel of the kingdom, love will never fade.
Welcome to the Gator FERPS Special Operating Environments.
A continuation of advice to help you while facing austerity and mobility, especially in the increasing risks with catastrophic population dispersing events such as major fires, flooding, earthquakes, etc. Let's take a look at the learning objective for this session. Task: travel to a desert region with special operating environment elements. Implied task list: in each region you may have the potential to visit, make sure you understand generic information on how to recognize threats, remain aware of them, and have minimum safeguards. Conditions: given the need to travel to a desert area such as the Arabian Desert region in extreme heat, with the requirement to travel from high-density population urban areas to remote desert landscapes. Standards: plan, prepare, assemble and pack the equipment needed tailored to the region within allowable carry-on baggage weights, balancing needs between travel mission and purpose to the minimum survival readiness requirements. When in country, maintain discipline and readiness and react appropriately when situations arise. Below are the primary references used in this lesson. Gator FERPS workbooks, supporting in planning and preparation for traveling. Gator FERPS Handbook 2, supporting in training prior to deployment. Gator FERPS Tactical Standard Operation Procedures 1, Tactical Take-Along Handbook to support information needs when an emergency occurs. In accordance with Gator Table 7, there is an exercise to evaluate common life catastrophe examples. Even if not realized, how close were you to disaster? Here are a few examples of situations which can constitute an emergency. Things can go from good to bad very quickly. The GPS could malfunction, your vehicle breaks down, or extreme weather impacts your ability to move, and you get lost in the desert in the middle of nowhere, or complacency led to rush travel with no water, no map, and no shade, causing a severe hardship if the vehicle breaks down in the high desert heat. Pause the video and take a moment to list some examples of actual situations that occur resulting in a life or death situation. Remember, never say never. It is only a matter of time. Have you seen the explosion of natural or man-made catastrophes well above and beyond human explanation? Check out this article about the increasing probability of population dispersing events like fires, floods, earthquakes, and others. This institutes an implied task to ensure adequate mobile survivability while also establishing static prepping, aka bug outs. Meanwhile, realize that all this was foretold biblically. We will use Gator Table 7.6, titled Considerations When Traveling Outside Your Area, from Gator FERPS Workbook 2, as a guide for this lesson. So let's now get down to the serious business of proper planning. The first consideration to study is your flights. Before you fly, understand all airport locations, routes, airport capacities. Know and record important information so you will not be stuck if power is out or cell phone service disrupts. Research United States embassies and other friendly agencies, their numbers, locations, and routes to them. Make sure any ticket you buy to any austere country has the flexibility to change dates without charge for early return if something happens. If no air travel escape options are possibly known, seaports, public transport systems, rail line locations, and land routes via auto. Also understand regional infrastructure such as the seaports, railways, waterways, and local resources. Know the locations of hospitals and the emergency management numbers. Understand local currencies. Ensure you have enough local currency prior to going to locally purchase supplies, provide reduced need to use credit cards, prevent confusion and haggling over details of conversion while tired from travel, prevent wasted time searching for exchanges, and limit your risks of exposure to thieves. Maps. Maps are a critical item. You need to ensure you study the terrain, roads, cities, routes, infrastructure, etc. Also, know where you are going. Do not approach a taxi or public transport until you are familiar with the area to prevent getting lost or being taken advantage of by crooks. Interpretation. If you cannot speak the local language, at least have a minimum understanding of the alphabet, system for signs and road markings, and transport systems. If available, interpreters will be required to communicate if you are planning a more complex effort in the target region you will visit. Power management and supply. Evaluate your needs in the regions, taking into consideration limitations and constraints. Some locations you may visit will not have a reliable and plentiful electricity supply. Here is an overview of some items I packed for a long-duration trip which would require me to travel through remote areas of desert from basing in urban areas. Survival radio, with light, rechargeable by wind-up and solar. I have tested several different versions. The better versions are usually more costly, but it is a good-to-have item if you can afford. Note that the radio is only one-way, meaning it is not an active form of communication. You may want to research alternatives for cell phone backup when you enter an area with no signal. The radio is good to keep up with news broadcasts and reduce battery consumption and dependency on the cell phone. Rechargeable USB-C headlight. When traveling, I find rechargeable flashlights the best to reduce logistics to carry lots of batteries. The common charging port of USB-C also helps simplify cable needs. Electronics kits with redundant cables, proper adapters, and solar rechargeable battery pack with flashlight. I have found the USB-C new plug styles are much more reliable. But you need to be sure to have plenty of redundancy with extra cables, connectors, and adapters in case of loss or breakage. Make sure to have backups such as a portable solar panel or crank emergency radio with charging capability. Carry the necessary adapters to enable car charging while traveling. Ensure you have a multi-plug adapter for the varying versions of plugs and outlets. When purchasing electronics, buy items that have the full range of voltage from 110 to 220 volts. Do not use 110-volt items in 220-volt outlets. Plug adapters only adapt the plug type. They do not transform or convert power from 110 volts to 220 volts. Sensitive digital electronics can burn out immediately, but analog energy items such as hair curlers can overheat from excess overload in a 110-volt design. Always keep your electrical items fully charged. I have seen so many instances in which people have a habit of letting their cell phones reduce in charging status, and then when a constraint prevents access to power, they are funneled into a panic. Remember to check battery levels of all items prior to commencing travel. Warning: ensure you do not let cell phone and other sensitive electronics lay in the direct sun, such as on a car dashboard. Cell phones can overheat, and then when you need to make a call you can't. Extreme heat can also melt or degrade the parts. I have split power management considerations into two phases. The first is the tactical immediate power management phase. Phase 1 is for planning, inventory, and readiness to manage immediate tactical levels of capabilities to manage power for devices and functionality. Knowing devices and their accessories, the power requirements for each, and basic terms such as ohms, amps, voltage, watts, alternating and direct currents, fuses, wiring, solar power kits, battery management, etc. The Gator FERPS publication series provides well-thought-out research, training, and tactical execution support. For example, Gator Table 6 and Gator FERPS Handbook 2 provides a guide for a power generation and management plan to handle the tactical application of on-hand capabilities needed, including radio communication devices, lighting devices, total power needs estimation, and total power generation capability. Phase 2 is preparation for total catastrophic disasters, or a TCD. This is the push-button extinction phase, which one must understand how to create solutions for electronics in the absence of store-bought solutions. A TCD does not have to be a major national event, but a total catastrophe to your individual level of total disruption of living for an extended period. How much do you know about the science and physics of electricity, and could you re-engineer solutions to build your own power generation? In today's world, the advances in technology with more reliable electronics, which requires less understanding of the guts of an appliance, tools, light fixture, etc., have led to disabling of the ability for people to do basic repairs.
You better get that fat butt up. I'm talking to you, cat. You think I'm carrying yourself around when stuff hits the fan? I ain't gonna be carrying your fat butt around. What's wrong with you? Here, study.
In this video, we'll go do a quick overview of a set of gear needed for travel in a special operating environment. In regard to challenges of weight, you still want to have at least some kind of minimal gear. If you're traveling and you're limited on space and what you can bring with, you want to ensure that you have at least the minimum requirements to be able to cut, to dig.
While you pack, you have to assess the combined weight of your baggage to determine what you can bring. Once you accumulate all resources based on your task and purposes, you may have to choose between completing items to ensure you are within weight and all items are allowed in checked bags. Do not pack over your limit, as it will create a vulnerable situation where you have to unpack items near bag check-in, exposing yourself to scrutiny and risk of loss or need to abandon items. For example, during travel I wanted to bring an adequate sleeping bag for cold desert nights. But I had to choose a layered option with a lighter weight bivy sack and a poncho. Since we cannot have lithium batteries, gas canisters, or flammable materials in checked baggage, this impacted what I could pack. I carried my battery charging pack in my carry-on and decided to purchase a low-cost folding stove with fuel tabs at a local store. I place a metal canteen cup in the base of my carry-on bag and sit the metal water bottle in it, saving space and ensuring ever-present availability to boil water if needed. I also packed limited clothing to save weight to allow for critical survival items. I noticed sometimes I would pack way too much unnecessary clothing. During a recent business trip, I was authorized a hotel. I was able to create a daily routine to wash one set of clothing in the bathtub and hang in the shower, rotating these every day. I bring only 3 sets of cargo pants and shirts that roll up tightly, 1 light jacket, and minimum underwear and socks. The extra cloth pieces provide the ability to increase layering for cold nights and versatile use as shade. Be sure to wear appropriate heavy-duty boots tailored for desert use. Low ankle shoes are not adequate for walking in desert sand. The sand will get into your shoes and grind on your feet. Breathable boots that can withstand extremely high surface temperatures must be able to withstand the wear of the hot abrasion to your footwear while walking through the desert. Sleeping systems. An inflatable sleeping mat is especially useful in cold environments to keep you separated from the cold and wet ground. I decided to drop the sleeping mat to cut weight as I was overweight on baggage. In the desert, this is a luxury item and can be substituted if required to sleep in a stuck position, such as a broken-down vehicle. Other local items can be substituted, such as cardboard, vehicle window shades, or vehicle mats. Natural material in the sand will be limited. The bivy sack is semi-breathable to help in higher temperatures, but with decent water resistance. The sack can seal, preventing critters from getting in. Keep a head net tucked in the sack to protect yourself from insects. Fleece blanket. I performed the oilskin treatment on this blanket, therefore it is extremely beneficial for lightweight, duct-like warming and water repellency. Remember, despite extreme heat during the day, temperatures in the desert can drop significantly. I packed this as well as a large multi-purpose cloth piece in my carry-on bag. These are very valuable during layovers for flights. In the bottom of my bag, I place a large flat zip locking bag with multiple emergency items that will help make delays in travel easier. Included is a bandana, lightweight balaclava, washcloth, extra pair of underwear, lightweight poncho, solar blanket, grippy socks, and lots of extra plastic pieces and bags. If needed, I can stuff these bags with newspapers to make an airport floor softer, waterproof, and sensitive electronics in the event of rain exposure, collect food, rainwater collection funnel, or any use you may deem feasible, rain or sun. Notice in this picture also is a sample collapsible water container. This is lightweight and can expand emergency water capacity in your vehicle by 5 gallons. Also note the pill containers I use, not for drugs, but competent supplements. While we travel, food is often poor quality, with low nutrients. I carry a smaller one for my carry-on bag, which includes multivitamins, charcoal for multi-use including cleaning my stomach and intestines when suspected bugs are incurred. I carry a small bottle of powdered vitamin C. This ascorbic acid helps increase resistance when fresh fruits cannot be found. The larger pill container goes in my checked baggage and carries more extensive supplements for use while deployed. Opportunity buy. A quick note about the add-on item. Normally I use military 550 cord to pre-rig my cords. Sometimes as we shop, we may see bargains that are very useful. The guy line ends can be useful to sink down on plastic sheet corners for quick suspension to collect water. I saw this 4-set guy cord very cheap and handy to throw in your kit. Better to buy for $1 than $10 as gear you may or may not use is acquired. The blanket and cloth piece can serve as layering for sleeping systems, shade from the sun, as well as other purposes as needed. Perhaps filter water, capture dew, etc. Combined all-in-one survival kits. I dropped this from my packing list. These kits are okay for a one-stop equipment solution if they are selected properly based on the inventory of the contents. Frivolous purchase may be useless as some of these kits have items that are cheap, break easy, and are not really that useful in dire need. I ensure to have all the functions this kit claims to provide with items of better quality. It would be nice to take for redundancy, as well provide backup for any accompanying travelers in the desert who do not properly prepare. Poncho. I keep this in quick reach while traveling to and from the airport in the event of severe weather and the vehicle breaks down. During pre-deployment preparation, I ensure to prepare 4 pre-rigged paracords with attached D-rings. The aluminum lightweight tent pegs may not be effective in sand to stake your poncho or blanket for intense sunlight cover.
Okay, I need that. Yeah. Here we're going to have a quick demonstration of gear needed for special operating environments, specifically in the desert. Never want to travel without the minimum necessary tools to be able to help support your survival. One key is it's difficult to travel when you have to compete with, you're doing a garrison style mission. You may have challenges with weight restrictions. You don't want to have to purchase a bunch of gear when you get somewhere, and if you're not going to be here and you leave. If you have the capability to pick up whatever you can, you must ensure basically your needs based on your capabilities, that you'll have stuff to be able to hold water, to be able to heat water, to be able to hold and carry food, the proper clothing. This I brought with, I bought for $10 at a shop, thrift shop. I'm going to be able to have the capability to leave it here since I have a buddy here, so that when I depart and then I return periodically, I won't have to recharge that stuff in my check-in bag when you fly. When you only have a limit of 50 pounds, your gear that you bring with, I want to be able to leave a certain amount here so I don't have to retrograde it back every time and return. So when I'm out in the field, I want to have minimum stuff to be able to cut, to be able to light, to be able to power, have solar panel, etc. So I'll just go quickly over each item, not go into depth about it, but so here we go. Have a toiletry kit. It's a simple one that's purchased, is a combined kit, very cheap, inexpensive, but it has some stuff that can be used for medical, for keeping yourself, when you're out in the field, you want to keep your nails trimmed. You don't want to have dirt up in there when you're trying to keep sanitation and you're cooking your food. I have containers to be able to hold, store food, and have utensils, disposable, as well as brought with a camping utensil kit, and it has a holder with it. I love my Swiss Army knife, multi-tool functions. I love these, even though these are a little bit more expensive, but they're quality and it's well worth it. All the tools you have to be able to, if you need to make a hole in your belt, say for example, if you have a hole in the belt and you want to be able to make another hole in your belt because you keep losing weight. I have a knife with another knife with lock blade. So when I'm cutting, this is a bone handled knife. Got this in Serbia. I will pull it out. I can't do things one-handed right now. But flashlight with AAA batteries. I prefer that all my batteries, I have the USB-C rechargeable type so that I can use my solar to charge in all the powering tools, my power management strategy. I could power my my lights and my phones and different items with my solar panel. Make sure you've got, if you're in one area and you're moving through and you got to move to another area, you've got appropriate adapters. Remember, adapters only change the plug type, they don't change the power. So if you've got an analog, for example, curling iron that runs on 110 and you go to a 220 area, the curling iron is going to heat up. It's not going to burn out immediately. It's going to heat up to the point of dangerous heat. Digital items, if you're not 110 to 220, if you plug a 110 into a 220 outlet, it'll burn out. Another small lock blade knife for smaller, finer tasks, as well as a long, this is about the longest I can carry here from this military combo set. I like this, 12 centimeters only, because legally that's in this area, that's all I can transport. I have a lockbox with the combination. It goes into my check bags. I love these 2-quart canteens because it's a lot of water that holds basically half a gallon, and then water, 40 ounce Big Bubba, right? And then within my bag, my carry-on bag, I have my Pathfinder kit here where I can go to the local store, purchase some heat tabs, and I'll have the ability to use the stove kit to heat up my water, sterilize it, and then put it in my containers. It's good to have these wipes, and then when these wipes are out, you can hold the container to use it to hold excess water and or food, foraging, or etc. I like to carry an umbrella in the desert. It's a good, expedient, quick, erect shade if you're making a stop. I keep a tarp. I've got the cords that I had purchased on opportunity with this on a sale, and I'll be able to rig these up to the corners with either tie them off, or I'm going to use, I need to go get 4 more D-rings to attach them to the tarp so that I could quick erect throw it, because one of the biggest dangers here is intense sun. It's still getting close to 100 degrees in the Middle East here, and that sun can kill you. If you get stuck with your vehicle out in the middle of the road, you could go ahead and set up a quick erect tarp to keep shade on you. Cloth pieces I love because they're universal and you can use to put on your head for shade, or for whatever purpose, as well as cloth pieces to filter water. And I have extra pair of socks in lightweight cargo pants needed, lightweight webbing, Very valuable, very strong, but still very light. Have a long piece here just in case I need to rig for carrying something, securing something, etc. Another poncho, which is very lightweight, very valuable as far as it can rain here extremely hard, but as long as you have multi-purpose, the tarp can be used to cover yourself and or cover your gear to keep it cool from the hot sun and or rain. Tarp, for example, if I need to use the tarp to erect for shade, and then I can have the poncho to cover up in if I'm laying on the sand, or vice versa, have the tarp to use to rig a expedient sleeping bag. But bottom line, I like, what do you call it, general purpose cloth pieces to be able to use for expedient purposes, to either for sleeping, for shelter, for protection, etc. Right now, the desert is not getting very cold at night, but it can get extremely cold. One thing I would want to add to this kit is either a small sleeping bag. I didn't bring my bivy sack, the minimum required items when I'm traveling. When you're traveling, ensure you've got a lot of cash. You don't want to have to depend on haggling with people using credit card. It's a higher rate of theft when you're interacting with facilities that you may not know. So cash is good to have. Got protection, not necessarily for the stupid dirty bug, but for sandstorms. Sandstorms can be atrocious here. Of course, my spiritual support, right? I like to keep, this is that thin craft wire, but it's extremely beneficial for multi-purposes, to tie, to secure. For example, if you want to make a quick erect fence, using my quotes to make a fence barrier around your sleeping area to keep wild dogs. You could tie tin cans or whatnot to at least give you a warning. Or if you're in an area where there's wild hogs as well, it can be used for hanging items, for laundry line. It's good, it's flexible, it's very useful. I carry at minimum, you have first aid, you've got medical tape, I've got antibiotic ointment, got toothpicks, because you want to keep your teeth clean. I love these rechargeable batteries, which can be used off of my solar panel. Fishing line, I just grabbed this, purchased it. I normally like to make a rig with the wine cork, but I grabbed it. I threw a heavy duty needle stuck in there, and this is lightweight. Got 100 meters of fishing line in case I need to secure stuff, tie stuff, fix stuff, etc. Plenty of lighters.
Oh, there's some. See, I laid my lighter down and it's getting ready to get buried into the sand. Discipline. I always make sure.
For example, your ruck strap, something's fraying. Make sure you manage those frayed knots. Right? I got plenty of matches, and I've got these old MRE type heater elements to be able to help support with needed heating items up. I have my Primus stove with the bottle. I went to the store quick to do a recon of gas canisters. I didn't see the kind of gas canisters needed to support that. So I have this. What's definitely plentiful here in the Middle East is gas, because they got a lot of oil here, and fuel, any type of fuel, diesel, mogas, which is regular gasoline, and so forth. And then redundancy. The reason I say redundancy is because, so there goes that. Just like who thinks that in this world there's no evolution, there's degradation. Everything degrades, especially including our broke bodies, like my broke neck and back. Right? That's the world too. Everyone stop fighting. Not too far from here, doing prisoner exchange. Somehow they allowed that thing to happen. Now my bag. This is my carry-on. It's kind of a garrison bag. However, this bag will double as my bug-out bag, so that and of course I got items, motivation to keep me in case I'm stuck out there. And multi-purpose, I have plenty of D-rings and different items here. Sunglasses for eye protection, because in the sand you don't want to be stuck out there. And plenty of room in this bag. I love it for especially the pocket for so that's See, that's what I'm talking about for repairs in the field. So if my stuff starts, breaking, I could take that fishing line and sew it up. Or I have a sewing kit, which they come in very handy. Okay, here, some amount of food, nuts, as well as if I get stuck out in the middle of nowhere, I got my vitamins, I got charcoal tabs, I got oxy powder, algae, and different items to help maintain my health standard. As well, I love vitamin C, powdered, it's pure ascorbic acid. I just take it, shot it, drink it, and it helps, especially if I get sick. I plus up with a minimum of 10,000 milligrams, not grams, milligrams of vitamin C. And you can even go up to 17,000 milligrams of vitamin C, like a small spoonful, and until your stools are loose. And basically that shock of vitamin C will help your body defend against any foreign invaders. I'd like to keep with me for general purpose couple Tupperwares to hold things, high density value items like sunflower seeds, nuts, beans, sardines. Within here I have powdered, I'll provide the listing, but if I'm stuck out in the middle of nowhere, I take a spoonful of this along with swigs of water, and just taking spoons at a time. It'll help me, even though I might be hungry, but it's gonna help me maintain my energy and nutrition. And one, I keep my bag in the car, so it's there all the time when I'm driving, but I can't keep the food in the car. It'll bake up in the car, will get up to 120 plus degrees. I carry my little J-list bag here that I picked up from a surplus store, and I put the food in here. Also a good thing about this, it expands my capacity for carrying, but it's quick. I grab it, I can put it, and I keep it in nice air-conditioned facility that I'm in right now. I love this because when I'm out and about, I won't have the risk of dropping my keys or locking myself out. Very handy tools, and that goes in when I travel, goes in here. I'll have the luxury this time of leaving a bunch of stuff with my buddy, so it's here when I come back the next time. This is a pack that I keep in the bottom of my rucksack here, my bug out bag basically, which also is the bag that I bring on carry-on in the plane, but very useful. It has cloth, some extra socks, bandana, neck balaclava, so that very thin too. All these items just sit there and stay there so that when I need it, it's there, but it takes up not very much space. Straps for carrying, multi-purpose, a backup. This is a very rudimentary belt, and/or can be used for strap to secure stuff down. I have straps here, one with the reflector, and then to wrap up this thing on the rucksack. Straps to be able to take secure to my bag. The one thing I don't like about the bag is it doesn't have external loops to be able to secure stuff to the outside. I like those kits that have stuff where you can take your snaps and rig it up to it and expand your capacity by rigging stuff to the outside of the rug. Along with your clothes, I have an excess t-shirt, extra, and I always carry at least a minimal set of clothing in case I'm going in some kind of business clothing and I need to change to some field type clothing so that you can't be walking around in business suit and so forth. I also like to carry a lightweight bag that wraps up really well, packs away for expanding carrying capacity, i.e. water. This 2-quart and that 40-ounce won't last hardly a day, less than a day in heat environment where it's almost 100 degrees. So if you want to be able to expand your capacity, you got to have excess capability to hold and load water. If you come across a water supply, you want to be able to, say for instance, you come to an oasis, a water hole, don't pass that up. You've got excess water bottles, you can fill them up, and then, but if you carrying along, you don't have any excess capacity and space to be able to carry your stuff, then you're gonna have competing demands. What do you ditch? What do you dump? I definitely want to have this. Definitely important, like e-tool. Axe is not so important here in the desert, but e-tool, so you can dig. You want to be able to dig down. Sand is cooler at night. You can dig, scrape off the hot surface, and then dig as well as, get out of sight, out of mind. Multi-purposes, be able to dig a cat hole to bury your waste, so forth. Okay, so the fanny pack, make sure I keep my passport in my pocket there, as well as wallet, anything necessary, and I carry it with me at all times because, or you could take and you can use one of these type things somewhere where you're definable, so you know where that passport's going to be, but it's got to be with you. Just because a lot of people, when they travel, they keep their passports in their hotel or whatnot. It's a very bad place for it, because if something hits the fan, then you're going to be stuck and you're going to have to worry about going a big circle to the hotel to get your passport and then try to get to the embassy to escape whatever riotous situation that's going on. Okay. Yeah. What's up, cat? I can't find right now. I've got it here somewhere. I've got a little, gonna have to find that. See, my compass. And it has basically a D-ring with it, a strap that has a compass on it, and those little ends that help expand your water carrying capacity. I want to keep my ropes. I'm not going to put it down in the main compartment so that I have to dig through stuff. I like to put my ropes and stuff down here in the middle pocket, which I know at night they're going to be down here in the middle at the bottom, so that I can go in there and reach in, get them, and quickly tie down whatever, and I'm not going to struggle with pulling stuff out and losing items.
For first aid, I keep formidable portable first aid items in my checked baggage, but also place bandages and medical tape in carry-on and a few band-aids in my fanny pack. I prefer the fanny pack because it can hold all sensitive items in one convenient place. This helps reduce risk of loss while you go through security and other disruptive events. Be sure to increase alertness to prevent theft or loss. Tool pouch. I keep a black pouch with small tools, small screwdriver, fingernail clipper, bottle opener, file, small scissors, etc. The small screwdrivers allow maintenance on items such as the screws on a wristwatch band and eyeglasses. In a lockbox for checked baggage, I bring a 12-centimeter lock blade knife with pliers, small saw, and screwdrivers. Note to meet legal requirements, the one-hand opening bolt was cut off. I am lucky to have a contact in the destination country to leave a 12-centimeter fixed blade knife with sheath fit with a flashlight and backup folding knife. Multi-tool Swiss Army knife. It's worth its weight in gold. Provides a handy one-stop shop for multiple tools. Be sure to attach a lanyard. Better if a quick release is attached to allow removal during use, then quickly securing. Nylon webbing, rope, and multiple paracord pieces. This lightweight cordage is easy to carry with ample capacity to rig, tie, secure, or many other jobs. Lay it in the bottom of one of your quick access pockets in your carry-on and also add extra in your checked baggage. Command, communication, and control bag. I like to carry what I call a C3 bag. This bag carries support items to lead survival with the Gator FERPS Tax SOP 1, Peterson's Field Guide to Wild Edible Plants book, temperature gauge, magnifying glass, pouches for foraging and minimum first aid kit including band-aids and medical tape, etc. Having these will help you quickly wrap pesky small cuts when moving and prevent you from having to waste energy to drop your bag and dig for the first aid kit. I take the books with me everywhere I go. I forage for wild edibles, if possible. Some areas, like the Arabian Desert, are very austere with little availability, especially in the central remote desert. That is why I carry a dry, lightweight, large jar mix of high-value superfoods just in case. More on that later in the lesson. Water load carrying and holding capacity. I use a dedicated decision-making process to plan and calculate my water supply strategy. I place a 2-quart canteen in my checked baggage. This is lightweight yet has a value to add large capacity to water load carrying, and it has a carrying strap or clips to attach it to a bag. I carry a 40-ounce aluminum water bottle, and with the 64-ounce, 2-quart canteen, my water holding capacity equals 104 ounces, 3.07 liters, or 0.81 gallons, just over 75% of a gallon. I place a canteen cup and cooker set in the base of my carry-on bag side pocket. The water bottle slides and sits conveniently in it. In the desert region, local fuel for a fire will be hard to find. Therefore, when I arrive, I acquire low-cost fuel tabs from a local store. The good thing about metal water bottles is that you will have an emergency alternative to heat water, which plastic bottles will not allow. Be careful not to overheat the bottle so the seams bust. But the main asset to boil water is the stove and canteen cup. 80 ounces or 2.4 liters per day per person is the absolute minimum suggested consumption of water. This is if you are eating well-hydrated foods such as fruits and vegetables. If not, you may need more water. Hyponatremia warning. Do not exceed 12 quarts or 3 gallons of water consumption per day. If your activity schedule will exceed this consumption, you must modify your work and rest plan to ensure you do not overhydrate. More information can be found in the Gator FERPS work and handbooks. I can expand my water carrying capacity by keeping an extra empty smart water bottle type, which is more durable. Using paracord, I can fashion a lanyard to secure the bottle as it sits in the backpack side pocket. This holds 20 ounces, thus expanding total carrying capacity to 124 ounces, or just short of a gallon. When planning, remember there is 128 ounces to a gallon. 1 gallon weighs just over 8 pounds. This will give you an idea of how much weight you would carry. In summary, here is an overview of the example of water capacity planning. Metal water bottle equals 40 ounces. 2-quart canteen equals 64 ounces. Extra plastic water bottle equals 20 ounces. Total carry-on bag capacity equals 124 ounces equals 3.67 liters, or 0.97 or almost 1 gallon. Total weight 8 pounds. Therefore, notice I can carry the minimum suggested intake of 80 ounces per day. However, in the hot desert that may be higher. You must plan movement during night and cooler temperatures. Carry an extra case of water at all times. It is better to have excess than not to have. This will be used only in extreme emergency cases, and the risk of issues with the water will be higher as the bottles degrade and release toxins when exposed to sun and heat. A case of 24.5 liter water bottles weighs almost 30 pounds. My carry-on bag is very versatile. It has heavier-duty roller wheels to roll the bag in smooth surface areas to reduce load on my body. It also has pack straps if I need to carry the load on my back in uneven or rough terrain. If you do break down on a flat surface and need to mobilize, consider loading as much water in a load-carrying asset. Otherwise, you will have to assess the capacity of weight you can carry. The next topic may be a hard subject to think about, but you should educate yourself on emergency use of urine in a dire situation. Gator FERPS Tactical SOP2 has a section with tables to help consider this. Many survival scenarios tell of successful survival hydration using their urine. The use of urine has been historically taught in survival academics with prohibitive recommendations for internal use. But you should be aware of the plausibility in the use of urine if a life or death situation required your personal assessment to the value of use of your own urine. Keep your mind open to alternatives, especially advice that comes with supported successful historical uses. When you consider the austerity principle, you can see in the studies from the Pan-African Medical Journal it may be wise to benchmark from populations who endure austerity. The reason many use urine as therapies is the rising cost of drugs, and populations utilizing this concept in remote areas leads to proof of its beneficial use, especially if your life depends on it. Remember, know how to think, not what to think. Scope your environment. Determine the life patterns of the area, not only including the geo and biographical elements of your environment, but demographics, socio-political, and virtual graphic information. Virtual means everything related to the communicative infrastructure, or CI, including an area's physical and virtual, digital, and internet features. Scope the following examples: the location and direction of radio stations, medical support, line of communication sites, barriers to communication, cell coverage zones, etc., and poses an understanding of what is going on around you. Every environment, whether urban, cities and towns, forest, jungle, or desert, has a rhythm or pattern. This rhythm or pattern includes the variables that provide the normality of life in that area, and getting used to elements will help provide a better ability to understand those people, places, and unusual things, and lead to predictability and situational awareness of events. Your surroundings can provide intelligence to keep you safe and aware. In remote areas, the animals, bird noises and movements, and insect sounds. Animals and birds can provide intelligence using their extra-sensitive perceptions. In urban areas, look for signs of potential criminal or dangerous areas and avoid them. Do not get caught off guard and allow complacency to shove you into an unpredictable situation. Assess your physical condition. Stressful disaster and survival situations will induce trauma and pose risks of injury. Once you have reached a secure location and attained safety, check for any injuries and administer first aid. Conduct a check and evaluation of those around you. Determine if emergency services are needed and immediately call 911 or the prearranged local emergency code or rescue operations as applicable. Take care to prevent further bodily harm. For instance, in any climate, drink plenty of water to prevent dehydration. Most importantly, if you start out a survival situation dehydrated, you will already be behind the curve. If you are in a hot climate, assess your water situation and conduct a risk assessment. In a cold or wet climate, put on additional clothing to prevent hypothermia and protect yourself from rain or getting wet and cold. Proper care of equipment and waterproofing will help ensure dry clothing to limit your exposure to extreme temperatures. Based on your current health status with potential deficiencies with the standard American diet, otherwise known as the SAD diet, or your failure to eat properly, you may start a survival situation in a negative and deficient health status. Evaluate your equipment. Failure to prepare and accumulate required equipment properly will equate to starting out with a negative status. If you did not establish an easy-to-grab bug-out bag and failed to quickly secure it, you will now realize survival in bare-bones austerity. Quick and violent disasters introducing survival situations can result in loss or damage of some or all your equipment. Survivability chances will be lower if you fail to maintain a persistent state of readiness or neglect to create and rehearse your family emergency leadership procedures, or FERPS plans of action, which will ensure confident, effective, and quick actions. Once in a safe area, count and check your equipment's condition. Remember the first S in survival. Size up the situation. Size up while running out. You may be required to conduct your initial assessment while on the move or facing a situation with a sense of urgency to escape immediate danger. To enable quick instinctive actions to a threat which require immediate urgent reaction, your plans need to ensure the ability to instinctively work through any situation with little need to think things through. When the train derails, floodwaters or tornadoes are striking, or a riotous looting angry group is migrating through your neighborhood, you will only have time to take predetermined action to ensure safety and protection first quickly. Then once the immediate threat is reduced, you can take time to size up your situation more thoroughly. See Gator FERPS Workbook 2, page 321. Food and water supplies. The new areas you visit may not have similar dietary standards. Differences in tastes and preferences and religious or cultural specifics may limit the availability of certain items. If you have specific dietary needs, research comparable alternatives. Some countries have varying standards about the use of human fertilizers as well as legalities with pesticides. Be sure to wash fruits and vegetables and carry small eyedropper bottles of bleach or fruit and vegetable sanitizer, preferably organic, and dry powder packets or small bottles, which you can put in your check-in luggage. If not bleach due to bottle size, purchase hydrogen peroxide, which comes in smaller size bottles. Prior to deployment to an area, conduct your research on markets, food availability, etc. This will help you be better prepared, as the last thing you want while on the move is to get sick. I pack a mix of dry ingredients which can be eaten dry if needed or can be mixed. I pack a portable mixer which allows me to mix my powder with any wholesome fruit or wild edibles, if any are available. Foraging in some foreign areas is not viable since greenery is limited or local species may not be known.
Okay, so I've packed up the stuff. Here we have the food bag, everything in there to grab. I put it in the vehicle and then take it out. I don't want to leave it in there when it's hot. I have straps, then I can take, which also was double secure so that I don't lose it. Take the straps off. I got my thing. I like these straps to be able to make ease and find my zipper. I get very frustrated at night. I can't find my zipper. So, and as well, I was telling you about here, I got my little bag. If at night you want to make sure you pull stuff out, then throw it in the bag so that you don't lose it and it gets on the ground, you can't see. Otherwise, if you can be sure, if you have to, take your cloth piece, throw it on the sand or on the ground. This, my premium stove, I still have not had a chance to try it out yet. I prefer, if I had the chance, to put my e-tool on the outside, but as you notice, these bags, there's no external sport hooks where I can attach it. So therefore, I have to pack it inside. And now it gets kind of full. I don't like packing a bag too tight because then when you stop, you pull out your camp, you do whatever you need to do. We need to repack. If it's wet, raining, hot, whatever the condition is, you don't want to be struggling to have to put stuff back, and you don't want your repack to be too complicated. As well, you only unpack to the extent needed. You don't unpack everything so that if a windstorm or if some other emergency rises up, you don't have stuff thrown all over the place. Okay, so this is going to be smaller. It's taking up a lot of space yet, but I still got to read the instructions, still got to figure it out. Just wanted to show you the functionality of my setup. So I have my fuel bottle secured down so that if it slips out, I won't lose it. I've got my umbrella in case I need to set up cricket rag. I don't have any wind, so I can also secure this so I don't lose it. And I got my knife with the flashlight there in case I need a quick grab, something to cut with. On this side, I've got my water bottle, my Big Bubba 40 ouncer, and inside, I'll show you that. Inside there, I have that filter cloth, which I then, if I need to fill this, I keep it empty. I have excess bottles, cases of water that I keep. If I have to mobilize, I'm going to fill that with water. I have the filter cloth within there in case I need to filter some water. I've got my got first aid stuff in there. Toolkit, scissors in case I would need to cut gauze. Quick grab solar panel with cords in there. Backup electronics kit, cords, and any kind of plug-in that I need for all the types of equipment that I have. Quick grab face mask if needed. Because believe me, you get hit with a sandstorm in the desert, and or if you get thrown into a chemical hazard or whatnot, you want to be able to get your mask quickly. Poncho. Someplace, if it starts raining or for whatever need you need some protection, hey, look, I don't have to dig around. I know where my poncho is at. I can grab it and pull it out. Okay? I know where everything's at. I rehearsed. I have my spoon kit here. I have to fix this Velcro. It's not sticking. Eventually, I want to take and make a lanyard on this, just like I have for my my Swiss knife. It's there. I could quick release it off of this. I also have a light here, which this light has a rect. You can use it as a space lamp and or a flashlight. Okay? The only bad thing is this is powered with AAA batteries, and that flashlight there powers with AAA batteries. I've only got 2 rechargeable AAA batteries. I've got no way to recharge, so I'm going to have to carry extra AAA batteries, which adds to the weight, and it's basically a logistics requirement. I would rather have that the batteries therein are rechargeable with the USB-C and get everything that I have. Dynamics of the migration of the technology improved. We went from USB, whatever it was called, the old one, and then now the USB-Cs, and a lot of stuff that I have is the old versions of USBs. And for example, these are USB-C rechargeables. Even though these take a long time to recharge, however, at least I have the option to recharge. I need 3 of them though, because if this takes 3, I've got to be able to recharge. So to be dysfunctional, batteries die out, then I've only got 2 batteries left. So I need to go buy another one. Because I forgot at home, I've got many other rechargeables with the USB-C. And then up here, I've got my vitamins, my vitamin C, and by the way, I forgot to tell you, this is a coffee. Coffee's important to me, so I've got that quick grab right here. Got a quick grab fork and knife set here, and here's Field Expedient. Fixed my kit with some super glue before I left, because when you're traveling, it wears out a bit and it's just starting to hit holes here. I don't want to lose my water, and then I got my water with another, and secure this down so that I won't lose it when I'm rolling around. Especially, you get in a hurry, you're moving around, you don't want to lose any items that you got. Okay, so I just hope that provides a good overview. So I'm set. If I go out and I'm traveling, I feel pretty confident. Oh shoot, you know what? I just remembered, one thing I forgot was plastic sheets, heavy duty plastic sheets, so that if it's raining and or if I need to make a solar still, I've got down at the bottom, it's there, it's lightweight, it's there if needed, but I forgot them. They're sitting on the counter at home. I have an option if I needed, and I'm not cutting up, but I don't have the capability to sit there and use that for a solar still. So I would probably be forced then to cut this open and use for a solar still, but that's not functional. So I've got to get myself some plastic sheets. That's the thing about going through and becoming quite an expert understanding. But I've got this set up here, for example, in Gator FERPS Workbook 3, you sit down, this helps you planning, as well as I provided some of the FEMA tools in here. Those are free, you can get online if you want to go get them, but I included in here to give you a one-stop shop, everything right there. Have a great, God blessed day, morning, night, wherever you're at. Get ready, look up in the sky. The Lord Jesus Christ is coming soon for me and you. Let me guess, you're hungry, right? You want your food? Huh? You want your food? Ah!
Through the trials and troubles, we'll never lose sight. With His light leading forward, we'll shine ever bright. So lift your voices, let the heaven.
I got 24 bottles of 0.5 liter bottles, times 3 cases. Got plenty of water, even though sitting in the car at 120 degrees is quite hot. I got a towel just in case needed. Gonna conduct a little endurance training, getting out in the sands here, walk around, take my ruck, convert it to carrying capability. As you see, got the ruck strapped on here. I was talking about expanding water capability. You have these little, I never knew what they were for, then all of a sudden start figuring it out. Oh, hey, you can just put a bottle and hang it from your ruck and expand your water carrying capacity. Out there in the field, getting my rucksack. This one here is a Garrison type rucksack. However, when you're traveling, you don't have the capability to bring 2 rucksacks with you, a field type, but at least this one is multi-purpose. When you put the straps on, it has wheels.
testing out. Rug getting a little weight on the back. Testing out this concept. Again, extra capacity for water. Got fuel. Got shade if needed. Cooling down now in the day. If I need it, I can quickly erect that tarp. This is the way to spend Thanksgiving, huh? Apart from family again.
Well, storm is rising, the waves are high. The world is drowning in its own lie. But there's a boat, it's sturdy and true. Jesus is the ark, he's calling you. Get in the boat, it's the only one that will float. When the mystery of Babylon is finally broke, sin won't float, it'll drag you down. But in his boat, you'll be safe and sound. Hurt a child and you bear the weight. A millstone's tied, it's a terrible fate. Jesus wrote, his word is clear. Hurt the little ones and judgment's near. Get in the boat, it's the only one that will float. When the mystery of Babylon is finally broke, sin won't float, it'll drag you down. But in his boat, you'll be safe and sound. He's the Alpha, the Omega, the beginning, the end. The word of life, I'll say you're our friend. The world will crumble, but his word will stand. In his boat we'll reach the promised land. Get in the boat, it's the only one that will float. When the mystery of Babylon is finally broke.
Hoping you might check out publications. I like to provide advice and guidance, a little unrehearsed, showing you demonstrations.
Dropped a space cloth there. Gonna take a seat next to my little mountain and just sit in the wilderness and get closer to God, I hope.
I'm working to get fit.
I'm gonna force it back in shape or break it, I don't care. Either way, I can't continue the way I am.
So that when the stuff does hit the fan, that I'm ready as best I could be. I like to provide the best advice possible. A little bit, some of the moments are a little bit unrehearsed, but it goes to show you it's a real person doing real things, trying to do a real job, and in between, trying to help provide you some guidance and advice to prepare yourself and your family and your loved ones and your small group unit that surrounds you, and you can help take the lead and making sure they're ready for anything, as well as build their confidence with getting outdoors and then eventually growing a love for outdoors, that which God has made.
He's the Alpha, the Omega, the beginning, the ending, the end. The word of life, our Savior, our friend. The world will crumble, but his word will stand. In his boat, we'll reach the promised land. In his boat, we'll reach the promised land. So come on board, don't hesitate. Jesus is the ark, he'll seal your fate. The others won't float, they'll sink in the night. But in his boat, you'll find the light.
Got any last words, kitty cat? You are sentenced to hanging.